Hi children, Namaste. Today we'll try to know the details of one of the continents of the world. You know very well that there are 7 continents. Today our topic is study about the Europe continent. So Europe, we know that the Industrial Revolution took place first in Europe continental. What is meant by Industrial Revolution? So, establishment of more industries. Establishment of more industries. So, in a drastic manner, since we call it as Industrial Revolution. And the continent which is prominent, become prominent in the areas of factory-based production. It become factory-based production, and they also tried to establish control over other countries and continents. Regarding this, one of the countries of this Europe continent, that is Britain or England, it has been called as sun never set. Wherever sun rises, there they establish their power or authority. And not only that, Britain, Dutch, Portuguese, and France, and even some areas by Spain also in the world. So Europe continent is a continent which has got control over the world regarding the political sphere concerned. Today, let us have a discussion to find out about how people of Europe have been using their distinct natural environment and resources. How did they use this distinct environment and its resources? So if we move on to the detail, that is the location of Europe, especially, so Europe is, so if we observe here, so this is an old map. This is an old map. So this is a world map, and regarding the continent of Europe concerned, see the boundaries of Europe. I'll once observe this. Here it separates one western side. There is one ocean known as Atlantic Ocean, and which separates Europe and as well as American continent. And northern side there is Arctic Ocean, and southern side here, once observe here. So this is Europe, and the part which lies between Europe and Africa, which we call it as middle of the world. As time passes, it will be known as Mediterranean Sea. So western side, Atlantic Ocean, which separates the Europe and as well as America, Atlantic Sea, and eastern side of Europe, the eastern side. So there are Ural Mountains, and northern side there is Arctic Ocean. So these are the boundaries of European continent. And here one thing we have to remember: this Asia and Europe are one continuous landmass, and it's known as Eurasia. And regarding this is the location, these are the boundaries of Europe continent. And if you move on, the separate, and once again here to get clear understanding about this. So this area is nothing but Europe, and this is once again so these are the some important things which you have to remember in Europe. And the physical map of Europe, and this is the political map of Europe. And if you move on, the another topic, that is the mountains, plains, and rivers of Europe concern. So there are so many mountains in European continent, and some. So let us have some mountains. There is the Alps mountains, which is in France, Switzerland, Italy, etc., and Apennines, Italy, San Marino, Balkan Mountains, Bulgaria and Serbia, and Black Forest, Germany, and Carpathians, Romania, Ukraine, and Scandinavian, Norway, and Dinaric Alps, Italy, Croatia, and Ural Mountains, Western Russia, and Au Mountains, Poland, and Caucasus Mountains, Russia and Georgia. And if you mount to rivers, the 5 major rivers of this European continent: River Danube, River Volga, River Loire, River Rhine, and River Elbe. And some plains on these European plains. The western and central European plains consist of France, Belgium, Netherlands, southern Scandinavia, northern Germany and Poland. And North European plain consists of northern France and Belgium. And we go to some more detail about the rivers of these European continents concerns can some mountains, rivers, seas, and as well as plains. See Scandinavian range, Divina, all mountains, Volga River, Caspian. So Onaper, Divine, Vistula, Oder, Rhine, Siena River, we have Biscay, Lorraine, Iranians, Mediterranean Sea, and Adriatic Sea, River Danube, Aegean Sea. So these are all some important rivers, mountains and plains of European continent. And how these are useful for irrigation point of view, and as well as not only irrigation and even agriculture also. And these rivers are used not only for irrigating the fields but also as major waterways. Ships and barrages ply on these rivers and transport people and goods from place to place. So these rivers flow across several countries. They also facilitate international trade and transport. In this respect, the Rhine is one of the most important rivers as it flows through several countries, empties. So regarding plateaus concerned, there are no large plateaus in Europe, only some small plateaus in France, Germany and Spain. There are vast plains in Europe. Eastern Europe is a vast plain which stretches across several countries like Russia, Ukraine, Poland and Belarus. So these are the important mountains and plains and rivers. And if you move on, the political map of Europe, see Arctic Ocean, the northern side, this is Arctic Ocean, and western side Atlantic Ocean, and southern side Mediterranean Sea, and here we have got this eastern side Ural Mountains. And these are the important countries: Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Germany, and United Kingdom, Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal, and Italy. So like that, these are the important countries of Europe. And regarding these Atlantic Ocean concern, and from here there are so many people, they discovered a sea route to America from Europe. They discovered a sea route to America, and we know very well that is nothing but he was Christopher Columbus. As one person from Europe only, nothing but Vasco da Gama, and he discovered a sea route to India. So these are the important advantages of Europe. Europe rivers, and having all these things, and they become more strengthened economically.